for WWE messing up characters. So Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis Bennett have shown up in Ring of Honor.
I recently heard about that today.
I feel bad for them.
Feel bad for them. Oh, because they got let go. Is that why?
Oh, there's a little bit. Well, the timing was terrible for them to let them go. It was just Mike Bennett did not get a real shot in WWE.
No. Yeah, no, I understand that. It's we're the first one, and it won't be the last one, unfortunately. But that's the way it is.
And that's a problem.
Oh yeah, it is. It's he says, "Oh, it was a mistake for me to leave Ring of Honor a long time ago." Like, well, I mean, you got to go to the top company and learn. I mean, I understand what he's saying to an extent, but it's like, hey, you got to experience that, and you learn some lessons and learn some experience. That's how I'm looking at it myself. I look at that in my own career, but I think it's just you went there, you got his feet wet, got an experience, whether it was good or bad, and now he's back what you call home, Ring of Honor. So that's just where he put out a lot of his career into his Ring of Honor. So I think it worked out for that part of it. It's he didn't get much of a big time, great shot at WWE, but he said lessons and learn, and he got the experience of it. And now he's back at home. So it's anyways. So yeah, they're back there, huh?
Yeah, they're back at Ring of Honor, which is a good thing. It's good that they landed on their feet in a sense back with them. But the fact that WWE completely mishandled the Miracle Mike Bennett is a prime example of WWE not knowing what to do with people that have built their name elsewhere.
Yeah. No, it's the first time, it will be the last time.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's just really, really sad.
How many wrestlers they have had over the last number of years are they
mismanaged?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's 100% ridiculous, and it's not through any fault of their own. In terms of WWE, it's just someone said before that Vince doesn't watch TV or other promotions, so he doesn't really know who these people are, and it's evident. And,
I was hearing. I've heard something about that a little differently too. A couple times recently. One of those times was when Bully Ray had took a man to be a Bully Ray in WWE, and before he was able to get his sentence out, Vince said, "Oh, I know all about Bully Ray." Mm-hmm. So let's see, he was told about it, or let's maybe watched it. I don't know, but I've heard other instances that he peeks at other things too. So I don't know exactly what the truth is, or exactly how does he watch other things, or these days at least, or whatnot. There are some things obviously that there are some characters out there that wrestlers have, but it may not fit for them. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're not matured enough. Sometimes it's they're not ready for WWE, or just they're not that style, or it could be obviously the company itself gets lost with them. They just thought, we don't know what to do. And I think the variables are different things, but yeah, WWE slips up a number of times, and it's obviously it shows, but it's there's different. But yeah, it's unfortunate that careers happen like that. But I mean, you take AJ Styles for instance. It didn't work. His WWE career was supposed to start many years ago. He's glad it didn't happen because he wouldn't have been ready for it. He wouldn't have been treated obviously as the way he has been for the last about 4 years now, as he would be, say 20 years ago. So
yeah. And I'm glad you brought up AJ. You remember we talked about with WWE how they handled the whole streaming thing, right?
Yeah.
So apparently, AJ, Xavier Woods, and Sasha actually met with Vince McMahon about it, and it was basically determined that their face is intellectual property of the WWE. So My thing is, because you know he's not happy about it. And he had mentioned he has everything still, so it's not that he doesn't have he didn't get rid of it. He just can't necessarily do it right now because of what WWE is doing. My thing is, once his contract's up with WWE, however long it is, which I think it's in his last few years on it.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to end up going back to Impact or AEW for like not necessarily a lot of work, but just minor work, and then gets right back to streaming?
I mean, it's definitely an option. I mean, he said he signed a 3-year deal, I believe it was. It was earlier this year, I guess it may have been. And they said this is the last contract I'm signing. So, I mean, obviously, never say never, and things change, of course. I mean, if he wants to, go ahead.
I don't think he'll sign a contract. What I think if he does anything with either Impact or AEW, I think he'll be like, "Hey, I will do like 3 events with you guys."
And, well, I mean, that's a very good possibility. Plus, like, you know, if he gets work for AEW, obviously his schedule is going to be exactly what he would want it to be. Very light schedule, obviously.
And they're based out of Georgia. AEW is based out of Georgia and Jacksonville. It's close to his house.
Well, yeah, but they mainly work out of Jacksonville. So, I mean, that's
they
closer.
Do. They do. They do, but Cody's training school is in Georgia. So
I get that.
You could probably just go to the training school.
Oh, that's fine, but as far as him to be on Dynamite, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I have a feeling because Sting jumped over there that he might go over there too.
Oh yeah, so never say never. I mean, it's a good possibility. Depends on what he feels his loyalty is going to be. It's not that he has I mean, depending on what he feels like his loyalty really is. If he's going to be staying loyal to TNA as long as he did, I mean, I don't see as much. I don't want to say it's bad, but I guess I would say as much as loyalty would be to WWE as it would be at TNA, if I said that correctly. But yeah, I mean, his age frame and where he's at in his life, I don't know the guy for nothing. I don't know, his life as far as, for other than what he says. I think it's take it by time, but they don't have to. Yeah, I mean, honestly, with how they're running Twitch, there's one part of it I do understand what WWE is saying, and there's a small part. It's the point to where, yes, I don't agree with them owning them since they're an independent contractor. I don't agree with that, but basically, since they own the property of them, they had the right to tell them, "Hey, you cannot do this." However, they're like we talked about before, that being the independent contractor, that's where it kind of like, okay, it shouldn't be an independent contractor, then it should be a regular employee. Is what that really means. That's what I'm getting at. As far as AJ Styles, at this point in his career, he don't really have to have WWE. Obviously, financially, I'm sure he's just fine too. He's got a big enough name, of course, to do what he wants. I don't think Impact would, my opinion, would be the place, but necessarily it'd be fine to go back to his roots. But it's, I think AEW would be pretty cool to show up at. But
the only reason I mention Impact is because of the Good Brothers, because the Good Brothers are there.
Mm-hmm. And who knows where they're going to be at the next couple of years. So it could still be an Impact. It could go to AEW eventually. I don't know. I think it's just going to say time will tell, honestly. But how that unfolds and who's where, and AJ's 42, I think it is. So depending on how much longer he wants to wrestle too.
Right. And so this is WWE centric on negativity here. Mike Chioda, who was let go in April after 30 years with the company, that's just beyond ridiculous. He basically he points to the fact that WWE wasn't uncommon for WWE just to rehire somebody and bury them and basically get them on revenge, and that it has happened. And he doesn't doubt that Vince will do it again, and that's again the pettiness of WWE and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's I've heard that a few times where they'll hire somebody back just to mess with them. Absolutely, I've heard that before from different sources. Can't go off names here, but Yeah. Can't deny anything with that. And Mike Chioda's been there for many moons. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's WWE, man. it's Vince.
Yeah, it is, and it doesn't make any sense why he does that.
When you're a billionaire, you kind of just do as.
It just seems like it'd be more feasible just to kind of build them up and make it to where they're popular and people want to see them because you have them on the payroll. You can make more money off of them that way.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And apparently, I guess they might be working on a new group called the Collective, which, forgive me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that Brandy Rhodes' group in AEW was called the Collective? No, the Nightmare Collective. Never mind.
Big difference, huh?
No, not by no. Look, it's just like Beach Bash 2019 all over again.
Very much. I don't know why they. I don't know. I haven't heard about this collective group yet.
No, apparently they filed for a trademark on it, which means it's going to be released soon. But reading that, I'm thinking of Brandy Rhodes, and it's like, well, wait a minute, no, that was called a Nightmare Collective. So, we'll see how they do. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for WWE when it comes to factions.
Yeah, they've had good factions in the past. It just depends on what investment they want to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it boils down to. There's had some really good factions in the past. Just what kind of push they're getting, what direction they're going to take each character alongside the faction too.
Yeah. Oh, you remember when Eric was in charge of SmackDown on WWE, right? When they hired him and Paul Heyman, him to run SmackDown and Paul Heyman to run Raw.
Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
So apparently, the reason that it failed is because he didn't have as much control as he thought he should. Which, how do you take that?
Well, he was on SmackDown, right? And the thing is that, when his boss was not only McMahon, but his boss is really Fox, and they had a committee already going with that show. So when you're like, you're the head, but you're not really the head. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you don't have, you have the control to do things, to come up with these creative points and so forth. You still have the two other bosses. Let's say keep it at that. Two other bosses that you have to also get the okay by, and that makes it difficult. And then when you got so many people are looking over your shoulder while you're writing this stuff down, and they say, "Oh no, can't do that. No," and it's kind of hard to make things work in that capacity, especially with Bischoff. It might have been his mindset. It just didn't work. Maybe there was a fallout. Maybe just didn't. He was so used to being in control when he wasn't in control at one point. What I mean by that is when he was at WCW. A lot of people think he was really in control when he was a GM of Raw, and he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a character. So,
right.
I wasn't there, obviously. So it could have been just too many people that were over his neck and looking over his neck, and too much pressure. Maybe it just wasn't the right thing for him to do, or Fox didn't feel like it was a right fit. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, you think a director would have some sort of say and a good amount of say in what they're putting on TV, but they just didn't get it. And I'm not saying Eric Bischoff is probably the best person for wrestling, but I think it would have, if you had him running SmackDown like legitimately and had him running Raw, I think you would kind of see a pretty big difference between both shows. But
it's also all right. Look who's in charge of SmackDown now, as far as that spot. That's Bruce Pritchard. Bruce
yeah, I had to
Pritchard.
think about that for a minute because I'm like, I don't even remember who that is. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard.